The man you were yesterday is already dead. You simply refuse to bury him. You drag his corpse behind you through every new morning. You let him whisper in your ear. You let him dictate what is possible, what is reasonable, what is you. And then you wonder, with the soft confusion of the herd, why you have not become anything at all. The answer is brutal, and it is simple. You are a graveyard pretending to be a man. You are hauling 100 buried versions of yourself into every room you enter, and they are heavier than any weight the world could ever place on your shoulders. The apex orphan understands this. He performs funerals daily. He buries yesterday before breakfast and walks into the day unburdened, unrecognizable, terrifyingly new.
Nostalgia is not a comfort. Nostalgia is a religion invented by slaves. It is the opium the weak pour into their own veins to numb the terror of becoming. The man who romanticizes his past is the man who has surrendered his future. He returns to old photographs, old songs, old wounds, old conversations, and he calls it remembering. It is not remembering. It is feeding. He is feeding his ghost so the ghost continues to walk beside him. He is keeping the corpse warm because he is too afraid to live in a world where the corpse is finally cold. Look at the men around you who cannot stop talking about who they used to be. They are not nostalgic. They are dying in slow motion, and they have invited you to die with them.
Marcus Aurelius wrote in the dark hours of his campaigns that every day a man must die a little, so that a greater man may be born. He did not mean this poetically. He meant it as a discipline. Every dawn, he buried the version of himself who had failed yesterday, who had doubted yesterday, who had been weak yesterday. He did not carry that man into the new day. He executed him cleanly, without ceremony, and walked into the morning as a stranger to his own past. This is the ritual the modern man has forgotten. He clings, he holds, he archives. He scrolls back through years of his own decay and calls it memory. It is not memory. It is the slow embalming of a corpse he is afraid to admit is his own.
You think your past is your foundation. It is not. Your past is a swamp. Every memory you preserve is a tendril of mud wrapped around your ankle. And every morning you wake up and walk a little slower than the day before. The men who become legendary do not preserve. They incinerate. They burn the letters. They burn the photographs of who they pretended to be. They burn the comfortable identity their family built for them. They burn the version of themselves their old friends still recognize. And in the smoke that rises, they finally become unrecognizable, even to the mirror.
The funeral begins now, not next month, not when the conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready. The man who waits to feel ready is the man who will be buried by someone else, on a day not of his choosing, in a coffin he did not build. You will perform the funeral while the body is still warm. You will look at every old habit, every old belief, every old self-image, and you will ask one cold question. Does this serve the empire I am building, or does it serve the empire I have already abandoned? If it serves the corpse, you bury it. If it serves the emperor, you keep it. There is no third category. Sentimentality is the disease that killed every man who could have been great.
You will be tempted to mourn. Resist it. The man you used to be does not deserve your grief. He was a draft. He was a prototype. He was the rough sketch of what you are now becoming, and the sketch must be discarded before the masterpiece can emerge. Mourning your old self is like a sculptor weeping over the marble dust at his feet. The dust is not the statue. The dust is what had to die so the statue could be born. Sweep it aside. Do not enshrine it. Do not photograph it. Do not return to it on quiet evenings to grieve. The dust is finished. The work continues.
This is the funeral of yesterday. Attend it alone. Speak no eulogy. Light the torch. The bridge is waiting. You already know which one. You have been crossing it back and forth for years, telling yourself you needed it, telling yourself it was sacred. It is not sacred. It is a leash. And the torch in your hand was always meant to set it on fire. Yesterday is dead. Bury it. The new man does not look back, because the new man knows there is nothing behind him worth saving. The funeral is finished. The pyre is built. Now we light it.
Understand this with absolute clarity. Nostalgia is the most efficient prison ever constructed by the human mind, because the prisoner builds the bars himself, polishes them daily, and calls them beautiful. No tyrant could engineer a more perfect cage. The slave wakes up, tends to the chains, decorates them with old photographs, anoints them with old songs, and then complains that he cannot walk forward. He cannot walk forward because he has spent his entire morning worshiping the chains. The apex orphan recognizes this ritual instantly because he used to perform it himself. And then one day, he stopped. Not gradually, not therapeutically. He stopped the way an executioner stops a heartbeat, with a single, unsentimental cut.
Look at what nostalgia actually does to the nervous system. It releases a slow, narcotic warmth that mimics safety. It tells the body, you have already survived this, so this is comfortable. But comfort is not the same as life. The corpse in the tomb is also comfortable. The man who sits in his own past is choosing the temperature of the grave over the heat of the forge. He is choosing the predictable ache of yesterday over the unknown weight of tomorrow. And every hour he spends in that warm, narcotic haze is an hour stolen from the empire he was supposed to build. Time does not refund itself. The hours you spend remembering are hours you will never spend becoming.
The slave clings to his past because it is the only territory he has ever conquered. He has never built anything new. He has never crossed any new threshold. So he returns again and again to the one battlefield where he once felt alive, and he reenacts the victory until the memory itself rots from overuse. The emperor does the opposite. The emperor knows that every battlefield, once won, must be abandoned. He does not return to old conquests. He does not erect monuments to himself in territories he has already taken. He moves. He always moves. The moment he stops moving, the moment he begins to admire his own past, he is no longer an emperor. He is a tourist in his own decline.
Your old friends will be the loudest priests of this slave religion. They will gather around you year after year, and they will ask you to perform the old version of yourself for them. They will say, you used to be so funny. You used to be so wild. You used to be so kind. They are not complimenting you. They are demanding you exhume the corpse and dance with it for their entertainment. They cannot tolerate that you have outgrown the man they befriended, because your evolution is a mirror that exposes their own stagnation. Refuse the performance. Let them call you cold. Let them call you changed. They are correct, and they should be terrified. Your family will be the second priesthood. They will weaponize your childhood against you. They will remind you of who you were at 7, at 15, at 22. They will frame your evolution as betrayal. They will say, this is not the boy I raised, and they will mean it as an accusation. Receive it as a coronation. The boy they raised was not built to survive what you were about to walk through. The boy they raised was a draft. You are the published edition, and the draft is no longer in circulation. You owe no apology to anyone for refusing to remain small enough to fit inside their oldest memories of you.
The brutal truth is this. Every minute you spend in nostalgia is a minute you are voting for the old empire. You are casting a ballot for the version of yourself that failed. You are reinforcing the neural architecture of a man who did not become what you now demand to become. Stop voting for him. He has lost the election. The new emperor has been crowned in silence, and his first decree is the abolition of memory as a comfort. From now on, memory is a tool. You use it for data, for lessons, for warnings. You do not use it for warmth. You do not use it for identity. You do not use it as a place to live.
Burn the religion. Smash the altars. The slave kneels before yesterday, because yesterday is the only God he ever understood. The emperor kneels before nothing, because the empire he is building has not yet been imagined, let alone worshipped. You are walking into a country that has no maps, no anthems, and no monuments to your past. Good. The past was a slave's country. The future is the territory of unyielding men. You will not return to the temple. You will not relight the candles. You will walk into the dark country and you will build new gods, or you will become one yourself. The slave's religion is dead in you. Now you walk forward, always forward, without sentiment, without ceremony, without the corpse on your back.
The Romans understood something the modern world has buried under therapy and self-help. They understood that a man who does not die daily becomes a corpse annually. They built rituals around it. The morning meditation of Memento Mori was not a quote on a coffee mug. It was a brutal, surgical practice in which a man stood before the dawn and pronounced himself already dead, so that the day ahead could be lived without the cowardice of self-preservation. Marcus Aurelius did this. Seneca did this. Epictetus, born a slave, did this with more discipline than the emperors. The ritual is not optional. It is the price of admission into the architecture of a life that does not collapse the first time the world strikes it.
You will install this ritual now, not next week, not when life calms down. Now. Each morning, before you touch your phone, before you speak to another human being, before you allow the noise of the world to enter your skull, you will perform the daily death. You will sit in absolute silence. You will pronounce, internally, with cold conviction, the man I was yesterday is dead. He does not enter this day. His preferences do not enter this day. His fears do not enter this day. His comforts do not enter this day. Today, a stranger inhabits this body, and the stranger is unburdened by every grave behind him. This is not a metaphor. This is a surgical procedure. Perform it daily or remain a corpse.
The second pillar of the ritual is the burning. The Romans had a practice of releasing what no longer served the campaign: letters from old lovers, promises made in weakness, debts of sentiment owed to people who had betrayed the cause. These were burned, not preserved. The smoke was the offering. The ash was the receipt. You will adapt this. You will identify, with brutal honesty, the artifacts of your past that you have been preserving for sentiment alone. The old messages, the screenshots of old victories, the trophies of conversations that no longer matter. You will not delete them in cowardice. You will perform a deliberate, ceremonial destruction. Watch them disappear. Feel the weight you did not know you were carrying lift from your spine.
The third pillar is the renaming. Every emperor who took the throne took a new name. Octavian became Augustus. The act of becoming required the abolition of the old identity. You may not be able to legally change your name, but you can perform the inner renaming. You can decide that the man your old friends call by your old name is no longer in residence. When they speak that name, they are summoning a ghost. Let them summon. The ghost will not answer. The new man, the one currently constructing the empire, has no name yet, because his name will be earned by what he builds, not by what he was christened. The fourth pillar is the silence. You will tell no one of these rituals. The moment you announce a transformation, the transformation becomes performance. The moment you photograph the burning, you are no longer burning. You are advertising. The Romans performed their meditations at dawn, alone, with no witnesses except the gods, and the gods do not retweet. You will adopt this same operational silence. Let the world see only the result. Let them see the new man arrive without explanation, without trumpet, without the small currency of social validation. The empire is built behind walls. The empire is announced only by its existence.
The fifth pillar is the repetition. One funeral does not bury a corpse that has been walking for 30 years. You will perform it daily. You will perform it on the days you do not feel like it. You will perform it on the days you feel weak, the days you feel strong, the days you feel nothing at all. The discipline of the ritual is the architecture of the new self. Skip a day and the corpse climbs back onto your shoulders. Skip a week and you are once again hauling the entire graveyard. Skip a month and you have dissolved back into the man you swore you had buried. There is no graduation. The ritual continues until you die for real.
Understand the terrifying gift of this practice. The man who dies daily cannot be killed by anyone else. The man who has already buried himself cannot be threatened by loss. The man who has surrendered yesterday cannot be blackmailed by his own past. You become unreachable, not because you have hidden, but because the version of you that the world knew how to wound no longer exists. They keep firing arrows at a target that has already left the field. They keep insulting a man who has already changed his name. They keep manipulating a self you have already cremated. This is the lethal Stoic freedom. This is the architecture of the unkillable.
Install the ritual tonight. Begin the funeral tomorrow. Repeat until the corpse is finally cold. The Roman ritual of daily death is not a philosophy. It is an instrument. Pick it up, use it, or be used by every ghost you refused to bury.
This is the final chamber of the ritual, and most men never enter it, because what waits inside terrifies them more than the funeral itself. The funeral was the easy part. Burning the bridges was the easy part. Performing the daily death was the easy part. What comes now is the part that breaks the soft mind. You must become unrecognizable. Not to the world, although that will happen. You must become unrecognizable to yourself. You must walk past a mirror one morning and pause, not because you have aged, but because the man looking back is a stranger you have never been introduced to. And in that moment, you will not feel grief. You will feel the cold, terrifying joy of having finally killed the prisoner and met the king. The world will not celebrate this transformation. The world will resist it. The people who built their relationship with you on the architecture of your old self will experience your evolution as a personal attack. They will accuse you of arrogance. They will accuse you of coldness. They will accuse you of becoming someone they no longer like. They are correct on every count, and you owe them no defense. You did not transform for their comfort. You transformed because the man you used to be was a coward who could not survive the empire you intend to build. The accusations are the receipt. They confirm that the surgery worked.
You will lose people. Accept it now, before the loss arrives. The friendships that were built on your weakness cannot survive your strength. The romances that were built on your dependency cannot survive your sovereignty. The family dynamics that were built on your compliance cannot survive your refusal to be small. These losses are not failures of the transformation. They are the proof that the transformation is real. A new man cannot be loved by the same people who loved the old man, because the new man does not exist in their internal map of reality. He is a foreigner in the country of your old life, and foreigners are not invited to family dinners.
There will be a strange and brutal grief that comes with this. You will mourn not the people you lost, but the version of yourself who needed them. You will mourn the comfort of being known. You will mourn the warmth of being predictable. You will mourn the safety of being small. Let the grief come, but do not let it convince you to return. Returning is the death of everything you have built. The grief is the toll, not the verdict. Pay it and keep walking. The road does not bend backward. The road only bends forward, into territory no one in your old life was ever brave enough to enter.
Then comes the strange peace, the peace of a man who no longer carries the corpse, the peace of a man who no longer performs the old self for old audiences, the peace of a man who walks into a room and is no one's debtor, no one's ghost, no one's prisoner of memory. He owes the past nothing because he has already paid it in fire. He owes the future nothing because he is the one constructing it. He stands in the present moment as a structure that was built deliberately, brutally, in the dark, by his own hands. This is the unyielding monolith. This is the man who has finally become unrecognizable, even to himself, and finds in that strangeness the only freedom that has ever existed.
So this is your assignment, Apex Orphan. Tonight, before you sleep, you will identify 3 bridges to your past self that you have been refusing to burn. 3, no more, no less. A relationship that exists only because you used to be someone you no longer are. A habit that belongs to the dead man. A belief that was installed in you by people who never met the king inside you. Tonight, you mark them. Tomorrow, you burn them. And the day after, you burn 3 more. Until the entire architecture of yesterday is reduced to ash, and you are walking forward on a road built entirely of present action and future intention.
The man you were yesterday wanted you to stay small so he could keep living. He wanted you to keep his memories warm, keep his name on your tongue, keep his preferences in your decisions. He was a parasite wearing your face. He has been feeding on your future for decades. End the parasitism. Burn the host. The new man does not need the old man's permission to exist, and the old man does not deserve the dignity of a long goodbye. Cut him loose. Let him fall into the dark behind you. Walk forward. Do not look back. Do not feel guilty. The empire is waiting, and emperors do not apologize for becoming.
This was part 9 of The Shadow Empire. The bridges are burning. The funeral is finished. The new man is walking. In the final chapter, we close the architecture entirely. We crown the empire of one. We sever the last cord. We become the monolith no one can reach, no one can wound, no one can negotiate with. Subscribe. Stay. The finale is coming, and it is the most brutal chapter of all. Burn the bridges. Bury the corpse. Become unrecognizable. The Shadow Empire grows colder, and you are almost ready to wear the crown.